Ziploc bag, you can use an actual piping bag, but I find it's a little harder to find those, and you always usually have Ziploc bags. So let me get one of those and we'll start melting the chocolate. Okay, so I've got a bag of chocolate that is about 10 ounces, which is about a cup and a half or so. So I'm going to get a bowl, usually this kind of bowl, a circle bowl. So I'm going to, scissors, I'm going to cut open the bag, pour about half in, because I find that tempers it a little bit when you don't add half of it. So you're going to melt about half. Put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds and check into, just do 30 seconds until it's completely melted. And you're gonna stir it every 30 seconds so it doesn't burn. Burnt chocolate is not appetizing. So I'm gonna come back when this chocolate is melted, half the bag, and I'll show you what to do with the other half of the bag. Okay, so this is completely melted, and I'll show you on the camera once I don't burn my fingers. So this is, once my kind of bowls get hot after a couple minutes, so this is what it looks like. It's completely melted. Okay, so I'm going to add the other half of the chocolate chips, about 5 ounces or so. And I'll just stir those to incorporate them a little bit. And I'll just do 30-second intervals until this is completely melted. Okay. And then you have melted chocolate, and I'll show you what to do after that. Okay, so the chocolate is melted. For the first half of the bag, it took about 2.5 minutes in 30-second intervals. For the second half, it took about 30 to a minute, 30 seconds to a minute, and as you can see, it's completely melted. It's not overcooked, burnt, but it's just almost not melted. Okay, so back to the chocolate. Okay, so you're going to get a piece of parchment, and because the oven is warm, it'll keep that chocolate melted a little longer. Okay, so what you do with your Ziploc bag or piping bag, if you have one, is you're going to turn it, you're going to fold it in a little, you're going to pick a corner. Well, with a piping bag, you don't have to pick a corner. But for a Ziploc bag, you're going to pick a corner and you're just going to pour it in. And since it's turned inward, it's not going to catch those Ziploc zips, if they're called zips. So I'm going to pour some chocolate in here. It is a little messy and very hot. So I'm going to get that in. And this Ziploc bag is very little, so I'm going to turn it back outward a little bit and just pour some chocolate in here and pipe some little circles. So that's mostly all the chocolate. There is a little bit, but I don't want to burn my fingers with turning the bowl. So you're going to push all the chocolate to one side, make sure it doesn't go through the zip, and you're going to squeeze it shut. Okay, so you're going to push all of that chocolate. This is very hot chocolate right now, so I'm going to unzip it a little bit, let some of the air out, and then zip it right back up. So I'm going to push all the chocolate into the side I want, and then I'm going to make a little snip in my piping bag. With my scissors, I'll clean those later, and make little circles to stuff some more chocolate chips with, or chocolate chip cookies with. This is very hot, so you kind of, if you have very hot chocolate, you kind of like, you just want to kind of milk like a cow, if that makes sense. Very hot chocolate. So I'll do about 3 squeezes. It's different for every hole you make. So my hole is very, very small. So I'm gonna squeeze it about 3 times to get the size I want. And then once all those are done, very hot chocolate here. I'm gonna put it in the freezer, and that'll cool it in a few minutes. And I'll show you what to do after that with some of the cookies. Okay, so that's one. I mean, my hands are filthy. Probably have chocolate on my face right now. Okay, so get a bowl and wipe the chocolate off your face. This is a very messy business. Chocolate is. So I'm gonna, well, the tray I would normally use is right now holding chocolate chip cookies. So I'm just gonna get the biggest pan I have to fit the pieces, and I'm just gonna slide that onto it. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to fit in the freezer. So I'm gonna put this in the freezer for a few minutes to freeze those little circles of chocolate. I'm gonna get another piece of parchment paper and do the same thing over again. And on the chocolate chip cookies, I right now have about 8 minutes to do this. So, and the chocolate has cooled slightly, so I can handle it more. So I got another pan up. I'm gonna just pull aside where I have space. So let me just make some space real quick. Pull the leftover chocolate aside. And I'm gonna push this to the side of the oven. I'm gonna get another piece of parchment and do the same thing over again. Until I run out of chocolate. And if you have leftover chocolate pieces, that's fine. Just give them to your siblings or eat them yourself. The chocolate I have right now is semi-sweet, so it has, I guess, a little sugar in it. So it's not a very dark chocolate. If it's a dark chocolate, I couldn't eat very much. As you can see, my chocolate is almost running out. So I'm gonna almost pull out one more, and then I'm basically done. Okay, so put that there. Cut with your scissors the rest of the parchment that you didn't use. Smeared the chocolate a little bit, but it's fine if you just, my hands are a mess right now, so I'm gonna clean up my hands, clean up all the dishes, and I have 6 minutes to do that. So I'll see you in about 6 minutes. Okay, so I've got about 1 minute to check on the chocolate. So I'll do that, see how it is, and it is completely frozen. And that just took about maybe 10-15 minutes to freeze. So I've got some chocolate here. I'm gonna get it off this oven because it's gonna melt in no time at all. So let me get another bowl with the chocolate that's frozen. Maybe put another piece of parchment of chocolate on to this tray.